In 2014, volunteers from the Scarborough Maritime Heritage Centre took part in an intergenerational art project to produce a 5-metre long mosaic to decorate the Old Town Castle Community Ward. Weekly workshops were held throughout the summer with artist Gabby Naptali at the Street Youth Centre and Castle Ward Rainbow Centre. Participants learned new skills in working with mosaics and shared knowledge and experiences with each other. This short video shows the conclusion to the project. Sadly, none of the younger participants involved were allowed to be shown due to a child protection policy. With Gabby Naptali, who's the artist responsible for creating the community mosaic in the Old Town, and we're sitting in the base where the community network is based, and behind you can see the blank wall ready to take the mosaic. So Gabby, can you tell me a little bit about how the project sort of came together?
I was approached by James Coppett from the Youth Service, Connecting Youth Culture, and they'd raised some money, I'm not sure who from, but with improving the area of Cross Street behind the market in this area, and they had a wall in mind, and coincidentally, although that wall ended up not being suitable, we are exactly across the road and have now got the perfect wall. It started off as a youth project, but then the funding ran out, but we had the vast majority of the materials by then, and so it was then taken to the Voice of Your Choice at the Borough Council, and we had a community vote off, and we were one of the sort of the projects that got all the money that we asked for, which was fantastic. So it meant that we can actually really get it finished and get it on the wall. So they came up with the idea of having Scarborough Castle on one side and Flamborough Head, looking out over South Bay from the bay, which meant that we had the whole of the sea and the sand and all the space in between to sort of put in different motifs that might represent different individuals or groups that got involved.
And were there things that the group came up with that surprised you, their ideas? Was there kind of an interchange of ideas?
The thing that I loved the most on it, and that came up on the very first consultation, one young girl said, I want a narwhal. But it does look fantastic. It's kind of a centrepiece in the middle.
And one thing that a lot of people comment about is the rainbow, because it's very striking. Was that in the idea right from the start, or did that develop?
No, it wasn't. Obviously, we're looking out at the sea. There's a lot of opportunities to bring in weather conditions, and so we started at one side. I had the idea of actually changing the weather from one side, because it's 5 metres. We had all this space to develop it from one side to the other. So around the castle is the sunset, and then it progressively becomes a more beautiful day as you go across. And so then we could have a rain cloud coming in as well, and rain going obviously sort of stimulated the idea for the rainbow, and then we got the Rainbow Centre involved, and it was just obvious that was their thing, and we had the Scarborough Maritime Heritage got involved, and they've got their motif, the fishing boat with the net, which some of my Canadian relatives thought was a turtle. Then realised we don't have turtles here. Not even when we had narwhals, I don't think. But so it has exactly, evolved as we hoped. We've had lots of different input from different groups.
And it's quite a challenge, I guess, to sort of show things like wind as well, isn't it, in mosaics? But
I like to use background. I love in the work that I do to kind of give an atmosphere. And so to move the tiles, to get the tiles using shapes and creating a form in the background is just really a lovely thing. It just gives another dimension to the work. So we could use swirls for the wind, which I have used before, but in a slightly different way, more kind of blowy. So yeah, that's.
And was it? Were there any sort of challenges having young people and older people working together? Because you had quite a wide age range of people working on the mosaic.
Incredibly wide age range, actually, but not any difficulties at all. The young people were the ones who had been doing it first, so they actually ended up giving up quite a lot of their advice and guiding the older participants as well. So it was, and then one or two of the older ones had done it before, and it just ended up being a really lovely sort of sharing atmosphere. Everyone getting involved and creating it for themselves, but with other people as well. That's the nature of Mosaic, is that they kind of I see them all as little stepping stones to a progression, and having lots of people working on a mosaic is like a mosaic of people that you have as well, that comes together in a community piece.
And do you think that for you as well represents what it's going to be once it's on the wall? Is it about bringing the community together, the Old Town community?
That's a big ask, really, but I do think it'll certainly give the community a focal point in terms of a landmark. Part of brightening up this area is that it is used by visitors in the summer and other times of year for people to go from the Old Town up to the castle. So it really cheers up the whole of the area here and gives people another thing to look at and enjoy that's part of Scarborough, and really speaks about Scarborough.
Do you think the sort of obviously the skills you've passed on to the participants, do you feel that they'll carry on with that? Do you think it's something that you sort of passed a trade on to a new generation?
I don't know about a trade, but Gabrielle is really, really keen to do more, and I'm talking about lending her some equipment, so that I think she'll really enjoy doing that.
Do you know how many tiles were used in the making of the project?
No, I didn't count them on this occasion. The police station one actually says on it there's 64,000 tiles, but I could probably work it out. But because we, on the police station one, a lot of them are whole tiles, whereas here we cut them, so a lot of them are half or quarter tiles, so in effect you're using less tiles but more colours. Certainly a lot more colour and a lot more detail, a lot more work and focus on this piece.
Here we are applying the magic coating to the wall. What does this do then, Gabby, for the wall?
This seals the render so that the moisture won't leak through.
So here we are with Jennifer pressing against the wall. What are you doing here, Jennifer?
Making sure that this part of the mosaic doesn't slip.
So, Jennifer, while you're standing here holding up the wall, what's it been like for you doing this project, being involved in this mosaic project?
Well, it's been really interesting. I didn't know anything at all about mosaic making like this, and I've learned such a lot from Gabby. The mosaic towers themselves are fantastic colours, all colours under the rainbow, as you'll see from the finished mosaic. And it's a lot more complicated than I thought. Without everybody working together, we'd never have got it done. There's been cutting tiles, sticking tiles, having changes of heart and redoing it. But in the end, I'm sure it'll be a wonderful community project that'll last for many, many years.
Had you done any mosaic work before?
The only mosaic work I'd done was as an archaeologist, digging it up rather than making it from scratch.
And this sort of mosaic has a maritime theme, doesn't it? Because you're
yes.
helping from the Maritime Heritage
Yes.
Centre, aren't you?
And I'm very glad to see that our Maritime Centre emblem is right in the middle of it, so we'll reach
The
immortality.
tiles have been stuck the wrong way up.
Oh,
So we've got some brown paper showing, so that'll stop it sticking to the adhesive. So I'm just taking bits of brown paper off that are left on, soaking them. And this is section. Can one person come and do the grouting with Amy now? Choose between you. Excuse my French. I'm really bad at French.
Excuse my French, I'm really bad.
Can I have somebody with a float, please? No, look, I need to do that.
Alright, there you go.
Yes, it's rewarding.
Pardon?
Yes, it must be very rewarding.
Yeah, we'll see it every day somewhere. There's a little patch of brown paper in the sky.
So here we are with Gabby taking off the final piece of brown paper. So how do you feel about it all, Gabby?
Well, the fat lady ain't sung yet. It's not over. Gonna need another day. I hope no more than another day to finish cleaning off the grout that's just on top of the tiles and re-grout the whole thing, wipe it all over and then buff it up. And there's a few little bits of tiles that need filling in, but it's looking lovely. And I was just standing over there a few minutes ago and I was looking at the castle and then turned and looked over my right shoulder and there's Scarborough Castle on that side as well. It's a really nice little lift to the day, and the castle is in sunshine today with lots of birds flying around it. It looks glorious, and so does this. We had a reflection as well off the windows opposite, just casting some sunlight. Oh, there we are, I've got a shadow. Yeah, see some of the iridescent light on the rainbow. Looks beautiful.